good people. This is Mr. James Dickens of Research Supply, and I live here in California. And this is one of my first combined studies. One is a digital book, which I have multiple digital projects that I work with. I'll start with one a day, and going through the project itself and pulling out the information and putting it in play. The second part is an audiobook that I've listened to before, and this time really dig off into the book and pull out information and put it in play immediately. Because the book is called I Hope I Screwed Up by Kyle Cease, and it's very powerful. So the sample that's coming up came from audible.com. I highly recommend you go over to Audible, get your own copy of the book and listen to it, or go to Amazon and download a Kindle version or hard copy. So without further ado, here we go. Listen to them. I'll talk to you at the end. Bye. Thanks for watching and listening.
So here's the deal. I'm scared shitless right now. I'm 2 sentences into a 60,000 word book that I think I need to write because my manager, Norm, says my career won't really take off until I have a book. I got a deal from a huge publisher because they saw me perform and loved how I was able to walk on stage and speak my absolute truth to a crowd of strangers while making them laugh at the same time. I signed the deal and everything was going great until they said, okay, now write a book. If you think I wrote that because it's a funny way to start a book, you're wrong. Right now I'm in a battle with my mind, which is trying to do everything it can to stop me from writing so it can escape the pain I feel in my chest as I type. My mind is trying to tell me that I don't know how to do this. It's telling me that this book is going to suck. It's telling me that I'm going to miss my deadline and reminding me of a Facebook comment where someone said my vocabulary was atrocious. And once I understood what that meant, I was really hurt. The thought that I have to write this book with the English skills of a 12-year-old has been standing between me and my happiness for the last 6 months. So far, I've started this book about a dozen times. I tried writing with co-writers. I tried writing alone. I tried writing in restaurants. I tried going to a cabin in Monterey. I almost tried not writing the book at all. I basically forgot everything I've ever discovered about creativity and let how I was going to write this book get in the way of why I'm writing this book, which I'm in the process of figuring out. Okay, now right now in the book, just so you know, there's a picture. I don't know how you're going to do pictures as a listener, but I'm just going to describe to you the picture. It's a picture of me looking worried into the camera. And then the caption says, here's a picture of me as I try to write this. As you can see by how high my hair is, I'm having a hard time. And just so you know, my hair was like 2 inches high right there. And back to the book. And now I'm thinking about you. You spent $20, hopefully 30, on this book with the hope that it would help you in some way. And the first page is about how scared I am to write it. I'm sorry. The only thing I know how to do is say exactly what's on my mind. I know that might sound strange, but what's stranger to me is the fact that most people don't say what's actually on their minds. We're always thinking something, but instead of saying what we're really thinking, which would free us and open us up to new possibilities, we instead say what we think people want to hear. How much easier would life be if we just said what we were thinking in the moment? You would have sensed my inauthenticity immediately if I was feeling fear in every ounce of my body and I just overlooked it in order to write the right thing. Instead, by baring my soul and telling you what I'm actually experiencing, I'm freeing myself from the pain I would otherwise be hiding and holding on to. Something I've learned is that sharing my deepest truth, no matter how scary it is in the moment, is freedom. My only pain would come from repressing that truth. For instance, if a man were to get in an elevator and there was a beautiful woman next to him, he might be trying to think of something to say to her to open up a conversation. What if he just said that? What if he turned to the woman and said, I'm trying to think of the right thing to say to you? Think of how honest, vulnerable, and freeing that would be. Instead of hiding behind some cheesy pickup line, he gives her his heart, his fears, his truth, and he opens up the possibility for her to do the same. Wouldn't it be attractive if someone started a conversation with that level of authenticity? It brings out a mystery. It opens up your mind. It speaks to your heart. It's not a corny line. It's actually true. It gives you the opportunity to respond because now you're playing catch with a possibility. You could respond with, well, you could start by talking about how nice my hair is. So now you have a conversation that's playful and freeing you from your fears because you're taking your truth and putting it out there. Most people don't do that though. Most people get on the elevator and see the attractive person and go, it sure is weather outside today. And then the other person goes, yes, and there was weather yesterday too. And now both of them aren't speaking from their hearts. They're speaking from a place of strategy because they're trying to get something from each other. They're not being real with their feelings, they're salesmen. You would never look in the mirror and say to yourself, the weather is nice. You would talk about your fears and what is really going on the deepest level. When you're totally honest and transparent about what you're thinking, you free yourself from it. So I guess what I'm hoping for here is that whoever might be reading this will be able to connect to me and what I'm experiencing if I just share exactly what I'm going through. I know you may not necessarily be in the middle of trying to write a book, but you might be able to connect on the idea that I feel like I need to do something a certain way to make someone else happy. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt that you had to do something that wasn't what you really wanted to do just to get love or approval from a friend, a teacher, a spouse, a parent? Do you know what I mean? Can you feel me? Are you even there?
Introduction. There comes a time in every person's life when they have tried to make a change, and for some reason or another that change is unsuccessful. This can be profoundly discouraging, and even send us on a downward spiral. We are not prepared for the setbacks in childhood. We are generally given the impression that in order to have value, we have to do things right. And oftentimes we think we have to do things right the first time. What we don't always take into consideration is the fact that a very common and unfortunate part of being human is failing. Whether we think we have figured everything out or not, the unforeseen obstacles that seem to insert themselves onto our paths can sometimes take us by surprise. Sometimes the setbacks that we face seem insurmountable. We might begin to believe that we failed for a reason, and that there is no possible way that we could ever be the people that we want to be. We stop having confidence in ourselves and begin to believe in the worst-case scenario a lot more readily than we believe in the possibility of success. This can be dangerous for many reasons, and over the course of time, if we continue to feed ourselves the belief that we will never overcome our challenges and we are on a fast track to failure at all times, it can slowly begin to disintegrate our sense of self-worth. When we do not believe in ourselves, that can make it nearly impossible to function productively in our lives, especially when that means that we stop believing that we are even capable of productivity in the first place. Fortunately, there is a way for us to stop feeling sorry for ourselves and reclaim that lost motivation. It can be extremely difficult to get back on our feet after it seems like everything we were working for has been lost. But the only true variety of failure comes from not actually trying in the first place. If you give up for good, only then will you really have something to worry about. Humans are extremely hardy. We can bounce back from even the most difficult situations. If you feel that you have experienced a major difficulty and you are having a hard time getting your footing, this training will prove to be a valuable guide. It will help you to remember that you are made of strong material, emotionally and mentally. And in that way, you will be able to succeed. It is possible for all of us to rise from the ashes, no matter how difficult the situations we find ourselves in may seem at the time. Sure, it is defeating to face failure, but the truth of the matter is that we can always learn to see negative situations in a positive light. Without that sort of flexibility, it can be difficult for us to achieve things in life that we want to achieve. And it can make it especially hard for us to move on when we find that we are not making the progress that we think we should make. Whether you are suffering from emotional or material setbacks, it is possible for you to get back on your feet and thrive. Now, this training will show you how. All you have to do is believe in yourself and remember that it is truly possible. Let's begin.
Well, welcome back, good people. That's the first of 10 videos on the rising from the ashes, okay? And it's about developing yourself, learning from missteps, and getting busy. That project is within I created a community around these digital tools, and this project is there. So you can go click the link up under this video on YouTube or Facebook and come over to the site. And both books, one book you buy from Amazon or Kindle or Audible, and Rising from the Ashes is a book that I have right now that I'm working with. Advertising, utilizing the knowledge, putting it in play. It's in the community. Come on in and download your copy and get busy. It's amazing. You have lifetime access, 1 year money back guarantee. See you on the inside, good people. Thanks for listening and watching.